Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome to Exercise with Exos. Right, and we are going to get started. So today we're going to be spelling out heat wave. So if you were at yesterday's class or you watched it on YouTube, yes, it is the same spelling. We're going to do the same time interval, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest/transition time. And then we're going to do 2 rounds of heat and 2 rounds of wave. Different movements here. So first off, we are going to need a mini band. So if you have a mini band, go ahead and grab that now. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with our demos. So the first thing we're going to do some hip flexion here with that band. So very similar to that single leg, pretty much single leg hip flexion is what it is. So one arm, opposite leg, we're going to lift up like we're marching and back down, and then the other leg and back down. So feet are about hip width apart, driving up, keeping that core nice and tight. So that's going to help us strengthen our hip flexors. So that's going to be our first movement. And then we're going to go ahead and do plank knee to elbow. So we're going to be on our hands and toes. We're going to bring the knee outside, one elbow at a time, using that core. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and do alternating reverse lunges. So we're going to step back. We're going to hold for 2 to 3 seconds, push the ground away, step up, and then we're going to alternate to the other one. So I know reverse lunges start with an R, but we're alternating. So that's where the A comes from for that one. And then for the T, we're going to do a triple switch into a single leg Romanian deadlift. So we're going to start with one knee up. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. Push the hips back and then push the ground away. And 1, 2, 3, same thing on the other side. So we're going to do those 4 movements 2 times through, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. And then we're going to do wave. So that second part. And again, this is where the mini band is going to come in handy for the first W. If you don't have a mini band, no problem. But we're going to spread the arms out as wide as we can here, so they're not that wide, but we're going to drive our elbows down until we're making a W and then back. So the goal is to be here, coming down, keep that W, and then back up, but we are bent over. So we're going to feel that in our shoulders and in our lats. So we want the lightest band that we have for that one. If the mini band is not working out, that's okay. We'll be here squeezing through the armpits and back down. So that's going to be our W today. And then we're going to go ahead and do bent over A's right after that. We're going to hold for 3 seconds at the top. So feet hip width apart, pushing those hips back, raising those arms up, squeezing through the back of the armpit like we have a piece of paper. Don't let it fall. Holding for 3 seconds and then back down. So that's going to be our A for that one. And then for the V, we're going to go ahead and do some V-ups here. So we're going to be outstretched, come up, touch the toes, and back down, and letting those legs come down as far as we can without that low back coming off the ground. So the minute that low back starts to arch, that's when the feet are done. So that's going to be the V. And then we're going to finish off with plank knee to opposite elbow for the last E here. So again, hands and toes, but coming across, exhaling, pulling the knee with the core. So again, we're going to do that one 2 times through. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm up, and we're going to go ahead and do the world's greatest stretch to start off. So we're going to come to our space. We're going to interlace those fingers and grab onto the right knee, pull the right knee towards the chest. And we're going to exhale, step back into a reverse lunge. Back leg is going to stay nice and straight. Hand on the inside of the front foot. Keeping that back leg nice and straight. Nice big deep breath. And we're going to exhale, opening up towards the front leg, gazing past our thumb. So left leg is in the front, left arm is in the air. And on our next exhale, we're going to plant the hand outside of our front foot, push our hips up into a hamstring stretch. We're going to do a nice big deep breath. And we're going to exhale, bring your feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right, do the same thing on the other side. So interlace the fingers, grab onto the left knee, pull the left knee towards the chest. Nice big deep breath. And we're gonna exhale, step back, reverse lunge, hands on the inside of our front foot. Keeping that back leg nice and straight. Nice big deep breath. And we're gonna exhale, opening up towards the front leg, gazing past our thumb. Nice big deep breath. And we're gonna plant the hand outside of our front foot, push ourselves up into the hamstring stretch. Nice big deep breath. And on our exhale, bringing our feet together, push the ground away and stand on up. All right, last part of our warm up here, we're gonna do a couple planks and pikes since we got some planks coming up here, and it's also going to help us open up our upper back here. So we're gonna get on our hands and toes, keeping that core nice and tight. We're gonna exhale and push our hips up towards the ceiling, focusing on the upper back. So we really wanna push that head between the arms and coming back down. Exhaling, pushing up and back down. And one more coming up. And let's go ahead and walk our hands towards our feet. And we can take a second here at the bottom. And we're gonna exhale, push the ground away, stand on up. We're ready to rock and roll. So starting off, we're gonna do our single leg hip flexion with the mini band around our toes. We got 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. 3, 2, 1, and go. So band is gonna be around our toes here. If we don't have a band, no problem. It's just gonna be more of a slow march. So we're gonna lift opposite arm, opposite leg, back down. Exhaling, coming up and back down. So we exhale as we come up. This is gonna help us engage that core, but we really are gonna feel this in our hip flexors. So this is a great way to strengthen the hips. So I know we do a lot of sitting, and sometimes, yes, we do need to stretch out those hip flexors. Sometimes they are a little bit tight because they might be a little bit weak. So this is gonna help us strengthen those up. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're getting on the ground. We have plank, knee to same side elbow first. So we're gonna be on the hands and toes, using that core, zipping it up to bring that knee up. 3, 2, 1. So on this one, very opposite of what we just did. We want to zip that core up. We should be feeling this in the core. Not necessarily we should. We want to feel it in the core more than the legs. We're zipping that core up. As we zip the core up, that the end of the zipper has that string, and we're pulling the knee with it. So if you feel your core getting a little tired, maybe you feel it in your hip a little bit more than in your core, that's the sign. Take a second, reset, going right back in. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we're doing an alternating reverse lunge. We're gonna hold for 3 seconds at the bottom. Then we're gonna push the ground away and stand back up. 3, 2, 1. So stepping back, knee coming past the second toe. We're holding for 3 seconds. Push the ground away through that heel, big toe, little toe, standing on up. So making sure we're stepping directly back with the leg that is stepping back. So what I mean by that is we're stepping back directly behind our hip. So we're parallel, we're on train tracks. We're not on a tightrope. So that's what I mean by that. Keeping that knee over the second toe, arch, chest is over the arch of the front foot, pushing up, feeling that in the front glute, in the front quad. We're not gonna feel it in that back leg. We don't wanna push off. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gonna do our triple switch into a single leg Romanian deadlift. And then we're gonna start at the top with our single leg hip flexion. 3, 2, 1. So opposite arm, opposite leg. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3. Push the hips back, Keeping the headlights on the hips facing the ground, push the ground away. 1, 2, 3. Keep that core tight, locking that in, push those hips back, push the ground away. Be mindful of how far our chest is going down, making sure that we're not really going past parallel. That's when we can start feeling it in the low back. If we're still working up to a full single leg, feel free to drop that toe on the ground and only use one foot so that other leg is there for support. 3, 2, 1. All right, starting at the top, we're going to do this one more time through, then we're going to go down to the wave. So we have our hip flexion here, one leg at a time. 3, 2, 1. So keeping that core tight. We're exhaling as we drive up. Again, we're definitely going to be feeling that in the hip flexors. I know I'm feeling lots of crunching, lots of snapping today, but it is, as long as there's no pain associated, I really almost just fell over. As long as there's no pain associated, we are all good. But it is good to strengthen those hip flexors because, again, sometimes they're tight, not only just because they're tight, sometimes they are weak. So it's going to help with that. 3, 2, 1. All right, done with those for today. We have plank, knee to same side elbow, and then we'll do our reverse lunges and our triple switches, and then we'll move on to wave. 3, 2, 1. So something I also like to do when doing any planks or push-ups, we're going to act like we're screwing our arms into the ground, and that's going to help our upper back be in the place we want it to be in. I see it pretty often that our upper back is crunched in, or our shoulder blades are doing something a little different, but we really want that upper back to be nice and flat. So if we act like we have that orange squeeze here, but I like to be here screwing those arms in because that helps the upper back stay in place. So that maybe might help with keeping that form the whole time. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right. Stand up, reverse lunges. 3-second hold at the bottom. Getting that isometric engagement here. 3, 2, 1. So stepping back, holding 1, 2, 3. Pushing through that front heel, big toe, little toe. Keeping that weight forward. And I feel like I say this every time, but as you stand up, if you're not sure if you're going to feel it in your glutes or not, 1, feel free, you can always place your hand there, kind of remind yourself, use that glute. But also, if you pick up that back leg and really just stand up nice and slow, that really helps it. Really use just the front leg. So I know I like to do that specifically on my right side because my right glute does not fire as well as my left glute does. 3, 2, 1, which, by the way, is totally normal to have one side that's a little bit more dominant or doesn't activate the same way. It's about knowing that and learning how to work with it. All right, 3, 2, 1, triple switch. 1, 2, 3. Push those hips back. Again, if the balancing isn't working out for you today, I know sometimes as I do these and I get tired, I tend to use my back a little bit more. So I'm only going to really do a few. 1, 2, 3. And again, you can just place that toe on the ground. So I'll go this way. So that toe is on the ground in line with that other foot, the arch of the foot underneath the hip. But if you notice, this leg is coming more forward. So I'm only using the right leg. And then we do 1, 2, 3. Same thing on the other side. Push those hips back, push the ground away. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our bent over W. So we are getting our mini band, or if you have a long resistance band, you can hold that with a little bit more space. That actually might be helpful. 3, 2, 1. If you only have a mini band, you're gonna try and separate it as much as you can. Hands above the head, coming down, W as far as you can, and back up. This mini band is not doing it for me. That's not big enough because we want our hands to be here and come out further. So if you have a long resistance band, you can hold it here, pull it down, and then coming back. But really important, we're making that W at the bottom. So we're holding that resistance band here, coming down and back. So it's similar motion to that lat pull down machine that you might see at a gym. But we're really driving the elbow down, squeezing through the armpit. 3, 2, 1. All right. So next up, we're going to do bent over A's. We're holding at the top for 3 seconds. So we're getting ready in that position. 3, 2, 1. So pushing those hips back, squeezing those armpits. So we're acting like we have a piece of paper or a folder in between our body and our arm. We also want to keep that core locked in. Holding for 3 seconds. Great job. 1, 2, 3. Really raising the arms with the armpits. We want to use those muscles. We're going to look like this at the top. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up, we're going to do V-up. So we're going to lie on the ground. We're going to outstretch our arms and our legs. Using the core to come back up. 3, 2, 1. So extending those arms and legs. Exhaling, coming back down. So again, keeping our belly button rest into the ground. Exhaling as we lift our legs up. Just like with any other core movement, we have a zipper in the middle of our abdomen here. We're zipping each half of our core together, and then we're pulling that up, zipping it up with that string that has our legs attached. So we're here, coming up, only lifting the legs as far as we can without using the low back to come back up. 3, 2, 1. All right. One more movement, plank knee to offset elbow, and then we're going to start back at the top with the W's. 3, 2, 1. Of course, today we are doing heat wave, which we did spell this out yesterday with different movements. Oh, sorry. Opposite side elbow. I was doing same side. Got distracted. So coming up, over and across, still zipping that core up, trying to get the knee as close to the elbow. Again, same thing, screw those palms in to the ground. Wow, my arch in my back was really bad on that one. And coming up, over, and across. But anyways, as I was saying, it's not that warm today. So we're still in heat wave, but it's not as warm. 3, 2, 1. Maybe the heat wave is no longer upon us, but as always, if you have any suggestions of summer themes, let me know. We're gonna go ahead and do the bent over W. So again, if you have a longer band, feel free to grab that. 3, 2, 1. If I had a thinner mini band than that, I would definitely be using that. I thought that this was gonna work, but it was not working with the, I didn't want to break that band in my face. So if you have just a regular resistance band, like maybe one of the handles or a TheraBand, anything like that will work for this. So you'll just hold it above your head, pulling down, squeezing through those armpits and back down. So we also want to drive the elbows towards the butt. So if we're in this position, my elbow is here, driving towards my butt using the armpits here. 3, 2, 1. All right, bent over A's, 3-second hold. These two movements are great. We're working on our back, which is hard to do body weight sometimes. 3, 2, 1. But both of these movements are really great for posture to help strengthen our back muscles. We're also a little bit working on our low back muscles too, which can help with back pain. So if you are feeling the movement in your back, that's totally okay, because we do want to work our low back muscles, but we don't want to be standing in this position using the back to keep us up. So if we tuck the core in, keep everything tight, sink into our hips, and then come up and squeeze, that's going to take any discomfort off of the back without taking the low back muscles away from the movement. 3, 2, 1. All right. V-ups, and then plank, knee to opposite elbow. And then we're going to cool down. And then we'll be good to go. 3, 2, 1. So all the way out, stretched. Coming up, touch those toes. Again, feet go down as far as they can without the low back coming off the ground. We want to use our core. So exhaling will help, but we want to use the core instead of our hips or our low back to do this movement. So lots of things to think about. Keeping that core zipped up. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last movement for the class here. We're going to do plank, knee to opposite elbow. Opposite. I don't remember that because I was doing same side last time. 3, 2, 1. Screw those palms into the ground. Coming up and across. Pulling with the core. Exhaling as we come up. I don't know about y'all, but these ones are always way tougher on the core than same side elbow, at least for me. But if we do exhale, again, keeping that core, each side of the core is zipped together. Working on that core engagement. Great job. Finish strong with the workout here. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for today's workout. So go ahead, grab a sip of water if you need it. And we're going to go ahead and be on our hands and our knees to start our cool down. And what we're going to do, we're just going to open up our back a little bit more. So we're going to do a few reach throughs here. So we're going to start off with the right hand. We're going to inhale, reach through in between the left arm, left leg. And we're going to exhale, opening up towards the ceiling. And we're going to inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And then on this next one, we're going to reach through, but we're going to do thread the needle here. So we're going to have that hand on the ground, bringing the head to the ground. Push the back of the hand into the ground, pulling away with the upper back. So it's going to open up our back, help with posture with the rest of the day. You might even feel it a little bit into the lower back with the rotation. I'm going to do one more deep breath. And as we exhale, as we finish the exhale, planting that hand back up underneath our shoulder. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're inhale, reach through, left arm between the right arm, right leg. And exhale, opening up towards the ceiling. Watching our hand the whole time, inhaling, reaching through, reach a little further this time. And exhale, opening up. And this time we're going to inhale and bring that hand on the ground, push the back of the hand and pull away with the upper back. Breathing into our chest, really feeling the upper back expand. We're going to go ahead and do one more deep breath. And as we exhale, we can bring that hand back up underneath the shoulder. And then we're going to go ahead and flip over onto our backs. We're going to do a quick piriformis stretch, and then we'll be good to go. So we're going to lay down on our back. We're going to take the right ankle, place it above the left knee with that left foot planted on the ground. And if that tension feels good, go ahead and stay there. If you need a little extra tension, interlace those fingers and grab it either behind the knee or in front of the shin and pull that knee towards the chest. We're going to do a few deep breaths here, really relax that body. Relax our hips and our back. Let's go ahead and do one more deep breath. And we can go ahead and gently release that foot to the ground. And then the other foot. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So left ankle above the right knee. That feels good. Go ahead and stay there. If you need a little bit extra tension, let's go ahead and interlace those fingers either behind the knee or in front of the shin, pulling that knee towards the chest. Nice big deep breaths. Great job. Releasing any tension we feel in our hips and our back and our glutes. We're going to go ahead and do one more deep breath. And as you're exhaling, as we finish, you can gently release that foot back to the ground. And then feel free to stay laying on the ground, or you can return to a seated kneeling or a standing position, but that is going to be all the time for today's class. Thank you for joining me. We do have a couple more classes coming up today, as well as our regular classes tomorrow. So everything is up to date on SharePoint. And then as a reminder, no classes on Mondays. We're not open, no classes because it is Juneteenth. So we are going to be taking that day, but there's always all the recordings up on YouTube if you would like to take class. So nice job. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you soon.